Hello and welcome to City Vision, and tonight we'll be talking about the ultra-competitive NL West. Now there are a lot of eyes on this division, especially between the Giants and Dodgers rivalry. I know the Giants have been doing so well and the Dodgers are kind of pulling away, but is there still time for the Giants to get back in it, and can we see them possibly play in the postseason together?
Well, if you look at the National League as a whole, what you're going to see is that the wild cards are looking to come out of the Central or the East. The Giants are sitting dead at 500 right now, and they've been slipping and aren't really going to threaten unless they turn things around. Obviously, they've had offensive struggles and have to rely on Bumgarner and their pitching. So I don't think the Giants are going to be able to turn around and make the playoffs unless they make a trade at the deadline.
I think the Giants definitely have a chance, but I think it hinges on them staying healthy. I think their pitching has to be good. Tim Hudson came back. Jake Peavy just came back. Matt Cain. So I think that has to be good. Another team I like in that division is the Diamondbacks. They have a nice little team. They're on a run right now. Paul Goldschmidt's arguably an MVP candidate. I like them. But, yeah, I think the Giants have a chance, although I think at this point they're probably looking more at a wild card berth now that they're at 500, a little nicked up, going to the All-Star break.
And with all these pretty young players on the Dodgers, their newest players this season, do you think that the Dodgers will absolutely pull away in this division?
Well, the one thing the Dodgers have to look for is adding a new pitcher. Behind Greinke and Kershaw, they have no real pitching threats. And also something to take into consideration is what's going to happen to San Diego. San Diego, they're the offseason champions. Everyone thinks that they're going to come into the division steamroll this year, and they've done absolutely nothing. They could look to sell off Upton. They could look to sell off some of their other assets at the deadline. And that's interesting how it'll shape the division.
And I was one of those people. I thought the Padres would win this division. I don't think the Dodgers are going to necessarily pull away because I don't think they have the pitching. And like you said, after Kershaw and Greinke, Mark Bolsinger's had a good year, but he got ripped the other day. They're really missing Hinjin right now. He got hurt before the season. So if they had him right now, I would say that they're probably in a better position. But look, I mean, their outfield's crowded, so they might just have to trade one of their outfielders. But they have a pretty good team. I don't think they're going to pull away, though, because I just don't think they have enough to win a division by, say, 10 or 15 games. I think they'll still win the division, but I don't think it's going to be by a huge margin necessarily.
All right, well, right now we're going to go to the phones, and Joe is from San Diego. Joe, welcome to City Vision.
City Vision, guys, glad to be here. Listen, so my daddies, my Padres, why do we pay all that money for Matt Kemp? Like what's going on? Like, we never even had money in the first place, and now we spend all the money that we could come across in the Uptons, and why? Like, why is this happening to us? Like, I honestly think the Dodgers are gonna run away from us right now. Like, they literally have 500 times the bats than we do. I mean, just watching Jock Peterson go yard game after game after game literally makes me want to throw up. It makes me want to throw up. Can somebody make sense of this for me? Why I'm living through this hell right now? Thanks, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, if you look at the development of the teams that have spent big in the offseason, we look at the Marlins a couple of years ago, we look at the Blue Jays, and now this year, you could even add the Mariners from this year into that equation. It doesn't seem to click. There's more of a building from within. You see what the Dodgers do. They add Peterson, They have Seager coming up. He's going to hopefully bolster their offense if you're a Dodgers fan. But you look at the Marlins, the Padres, you look at the Mariners. When you add a bunch of players together, that doesn't seem to work. So there has to be other ways. And if they need to rebuild, or they could look to keep it together and strengthen from within. Because obviously shortstop is a big weak spot for them. Still working with Amarista there, and they need to look to add players from within and from beyond.
Look, here's the thing. Teams need time to gel. Look at it, what a team like the Nationals did, where they added players in free agency, but they did it gradually. Gio Gonzalez was 2 or 3 years ago. They traded for Doug Fister a couple years ago. Max Scherzer this offseason, and now they have a great staff, in addition to Strasburg and Zimmerman, who came from within. You can't do it all in one shot. Adding all these guys like Upton, Middlebrooks, Matt Kemp, it looks good on paper, but at the same time, they need to play together. They need to get repetitions together, which they probably didn't have with all those new players. I mean, they remade their outfield from last year and part of their infield and parts of their pitching staff as well. So really, you can't just have that much turnover and expect to be good right away. But maybe next year or the year after they can be better, but I don't see it this year.
And definitely, going back to what you said about gelling, I think the reasons why, one of the reasons why the Padres got Matt Kemp and some of these other players is, of course to gel, but also to get quality players to at least try to play this game, get out there and make a decent run, maybe not a significant run, but a run where they can at least come into contention, especially with this division as well as Major League Baseball.
Yeah, one last thing to keep in mind also, they play in Petco Park, huge stadium. That's definitely not going to help the bats. Dip in offensive production, that's just going to happen. So that wraps it up for us here at City Vision. Going to head to the commercials. Thanks for watching.